Okay, let's bring the forum to order. We put it. I'm Tarn from IPS. I'm a senior research fellow, researching in areas of arts and culture policy as well as media policy, including the internet. Thanks to everyone for coming to the event. The IPS NUS Law Faculty Forum on the consultation paper on the put up by AIM. 40 over people signed up, but at the moment there are more press than, well, as many press as there are participants, but that's not a concern. At IPS forums, we always say that the quality of the discussion is more important than the number who turn up. And this forum is no exception. Just a quick word about IPS and our interest in this area, internet policy. It's carried out by Arun Mahisnan, our Deputy Director, and myself. Arun is supposed to chair this forum, but he has conveniently gone for a wisdom tooth operation and excuse himself. But seriously, he has to travel next week, so he has to get it done as early as possible. As part of our work in internet regulation and media policy, we have done a number of things. In fact, last year we organized a closed door forum, and I see some familiar faces and we had Chong and Charles come in to talk to us to explain about, to engage the audience about aims and their initial thinking about regulating the internet and the impact of the social impact of media. Then, so we are quite involved in that process. And today's event is another instance. I've been asked to very quickly summarize the recommendations, but I would like to preface it by saying that Arun and I, in fact, we wrote a column about it. I think that the report is, so this is our way of slipping in our 2 cents worth. We think that the report is a great leap forward. And not only that, we have been speaking to people, and it surprised quite a number of people in the sense of how progressive it is in the thinking. Even though there are questions about how far it goes in the conclusions, but basically people say hey, this is quite in terms of the kind of things that it says quite different from other previous reports. So I'd like to congratulate Chong and the rest of the AIMS council members on that. Okay, the quick summary. We have reduced the 12-page or 14-page executive summary to a 2-page summary. So I'll quickly run through it. I hope I get everything correct. So AIMS was guided by 4 principles in their work, and that in itself is very interesting in terms of how progressive it is. Number 1, government regulation should be used as a last resort. Then free for all is not feasible. Shifting the focus from regulation towards engagement, and community participation as the key in mitigating the social effects of the internet. Then it makes recommendations in 4 areas: engaging the public online, regulating of online political content, protection of minors, then giving intermediary immunity for online defamation. And I'll go through the 4 areas. Engagement of the public online. AIMS recommendations is that government should push further ahead with e-engagement. And it lists 4 things that it should do in particular: evaluate the capacity of government, rethink some of its current citizen engagement processes, engage voices outside of current government platforms like Reach, and set up a panel of young digital natives to serve as a consultative body. That means that nobody over maybe, I suppose, 25 years old. Okay, and then B, regulation of online political content. He asked for the liberalization of the Section 32 of the Firms Act regarding party political firms, and in fact puts the question to the public on what they think about three options, right? Whether there should be repeal of the section, whether to narrow the scope of the section, and whether to repeal the section in phases. And it also says that if there are people with other ideas, you should make these ideas known to AIMS. And then the second part on regulating online content, it asks for the extension of the positive list for internet election advertising, right? So the ban on podcasts and videocasts and audiocasts in the last election, it asked for that to be rolled back, and then allow for use of Web 2.0 technologies such as blogs and social networks for during the elections, right? And then it asks for the removal of the registration requirement under the class license scheme for websites on politics and religion. The clause which for Citycom, which made Citycom decide to close down for a while. So that's as far as political content is concerned. For C, protection of minors, it asks for government to put in a holistic and coordinated approach with investment of more resources on protecting minors, right? Then it divides its recommendations into two parts: what to do and how to do it. On what to do, it says focus on education, increase utilization of filtering resources, and that government should provide subsidies to make the filtering service called Family Access Network service free to all. And also develop local research capabilities, which IPS as a local research institution of public policy warmly welcome. And to collaborate with overseas counterparts, because it requires international effort to protect minors and foster spirit of volunteerism. And how to do it? Well, establish a special fund for this effort. Establish a dedicated coordinating agency to look at how to protect minors from online content, and then also to lift the ban on the 100 websites, the controversial ban on the 100 websites, symbolic ban on, well, real ban but symbolic in effect on 100 websites. Okay, and lastly, the technical but nevertheless very important set of recommendations on intermediary immunity for online defamation. That means that don't shoot the postman, don't shoot the messenger recommendation. Basically, like YouTube and services which are just a conduit for content, but not the originator of content, right? So it suggests two things: put in laws to give limited immunity to intermediaries providing content, right? So it should cover intermediaries such as internet content hosts and aggregators. Then, secondly, the immunity should be subject to the obligation to take down defamatory content. Right? So if people provide proof that they are being defamed, then they are obliged to take down the content. Otherwise, the immunity will not be in effect. And even more interestingly, to perhaps put in a put-back regime. That means that if the originator, and I don't know whether it covers other people, can put counter arguments that this content is not defamatory, right? Then there should be a process of reinstalling or rather restoring the content which was taken down because of concerns about defamation. So those are the areas in which AIMS made its recommendations. For the rest of the afternoon, we will follow up with two things. First, remarks by Mr. Chong Ip Seng, chairman of the AIMS committee. And then we'll have a discussion, and I'll introduce the people on the panel later.